you want, and your vote is in, and you chose Kambo Aftermath. I'm Kat Rambo, your medicine woman, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite medicines of all time and a totally overlooked part of the experience: what happens after. So, just very briefly, Kambo, if you want to learn more about it, there's a lot of research out there now. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of practitioners. There's even schools committed to this craft now. It's a traditional Amazonian frog medicine. There's a bunch of video content on my channel all about it. And of course, feel free to connect with me. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to leave them in the comments. I love questions, and I definitely will circle back around and answer them for you. So the way the process works is, very briefly, a small burn is applied to your skin, and which reveals your lymph system, and snot from the armpit. The Phylomedusa bicolor frog, giant monkey tree frog, is applied to the open wound. Generally, it's dried and must be reconstituted with a little water or spit, depending on your practice. And you immediately feel an internal fire. It's an amazing way to connect with your body. It's very intensely detoxifying. Most of my clients come to my practice for dealing with substance issues, and that doesn't have to mean addiction just of substance. Sometimes it's addiction of patterns of thought or behavior, which is really wonderful. So it's a phenomenal way to make a massive change in your life. I won't spend too much time here talking about the process itself, because I would really like to dive into answering your question, which was, what happens after, right? Integration, as you know, if you've been working with me or follow my material, is a huge passion point for me. I love the integration process. That's when we turn what happened into who do I be now, and how do I really change my life? Because if we're going to do something to make a difference for ourselves, actually making that difference is what makes it all worth it. So I'm very passionate about this topic. Lots of podcasts and stuff you'll see on my channel about integration specifically. It's my specialty. So I love that we're talking about aftermath of Kambo. So all of my work follows the medicine wheel. If you're not familiar with that symbol, it is an indigenous symbol from the Americas, representing this cosmology of 4 quadrants, right? So it usually looks like a circle with a T or an X inside of it, depending on where you're at. And each of the 4 sections represents something: the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 times of life, the 4 aspects of self. And that's what we're going to use as our lens to work through this material today. So body, mind, emotion, spirit. Kambo is, let's start with the body section, right? Kambo is often considered a highly physical experience, and a lot of practitioners really just focus on this aspect. So let's talk about the body section first, but not because it is more important, actually. So let's do that one. So for me, aftercare is really important with Kambo. You need to take care of yourself. You need to drink water. Coconut water is great when we do a lot of processing and cleansing and detoxifying. We need to remineralize our system. So I love coconut water, unless you're still having diarrhea, which can happen, in which case, no on the coconut water. And sometimes just a little salt in your water is a great way to help yourself remineralize, something nice and healthy. Some of the aftercare instructions that I love to give, including listening to your intuition with food. Do eat. Depending on when you've done your practice, you may be fasting, right? Sometimes you may have just been not eat breakfast that morning, but you may also have been fasting for days, depending on your practitioner. So, and your personal practice, right? So if you, and whatever else is going on, Kambo is often given in conjunction with other types of ceremonial work, like ayahuasca, for example. So it is good to slowly reintroduce food into your system. So whenever my clients come in for Kambo, I like to give them some watermelon or grapes or cantaloupe or something to reintroduce a little bit of a natural sugar into the system to bring up that blood volume and clarity and grounding, right? So it's good to eat. Do trust your intuition with food, because if you go and make your favorite thing and you find out you don't really feel like you should eat that, trust that guidance. A lot of change can happen, which could sometimes mean a change of preference. Kambo can wash out our system of what it is that we like, right? Our neuroreceptors shrink. We detoxify overloads of compounds in our system, and a lot in the modern West eat a lot of sugar. It's in a lot of things that you don't even think of sugar being in. So sometimes what happens is the sugar is suddenly undesirable, and this is actually really positive. Enjoy your new healthy lifestyle, your new opportunity for a fresh start. Sugar is highly addictive. So sometimes We will go to eat something that we don't think of as being sugary, but we decide we don't want it, and it may be because of the sugar content. Sometimes people don't feel to eat meat if they had been doing so before, or something greasy. They won't want to eat that. Just trust that. Don't tell yourself that, oh, well, I already ordered it or I already made it. Who cares? Trust your body and trust your intuition. The medicine is still speaking with you. There's a common misinterpretation that after the purge, if you do throw up or not, there's always a purge, right? Maybe it's energetic, maybe it's shaking or sweating, maybe you go to the bathroom, maybe you puke. Most often there's vomiting. You drink a lot of water and you eject the water. It's not the same as puking when sick. It's completely different. But nonetheless, that is an aspect of what happens. So you may feel like, I forgot where I was going with that. Where were we? After you purge. You may feel like tired, you might feel energized, you might feel both, right? But you definitely should be eating something. So that experience is usually very grounding itself, but sometimes people feel like a need for extra grounding. But either way, you do need to eat, right? And drink water. Even though you drank a lot in the process, you shouldn't have consumed so much water that you have flooded your system. And in fact, this is actually a number one concern about Kambo practice, and a bit of a soapbox of mine is there are a lot of practitioners who give way, way, way too much water. And for the medical institution that is now collecting information on this practice, they have labeled it Kambo toxicity. And when I read what is in the reports, it looks to me like 80% of the time it's just way, way, way too much water. So there are lots of different methods now of applying Kambo that don't require a lot of water. But yes, this practice does require water. So don't skip that, but be conscientious about it. And so if you want to know how much water, what is the practice like, that's for another video. You can leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll explain it. But hola, Miss Emma. Oh, I see you changed your name. Now I know who you are. It's good to see you. Physical. Do rest and also make space for yourself to rest. After Kambo practice, you may feel super wired up, and traditionally hunters in the jungle will like to give themselves Kambo because they feel like energized, focused, and clear, and like intuitive. They can tell where all the critters are, and they feel like connected to the environment. And this is really exciting. But do give yourself some space to rest. Oh, that's what I was going to say. There's a misconception with Kambo that once the purge part is over, that's why we talked about the purge, that the process is complete. And that is not true. That is simply not true. The medicine is still active in your system. It's still working with you. And there are a lot of things that will come up along the way as the medicine still works through you and helps you with your process. But it is still very much active, even though the most obvious aspect of the process does appear complete on the outside. So do note that it's not just foods and things like sugar that you really need to be mindful of. Physically speaking, you need to be very, very, very careful reintroducing substances into your system. That could be coffee, that could be alcohol, that could be your other substance of choice, that could be medication. You may find that these things are significantly stronger than they were before, and it is possible to accidentally hurt yourself by consuming too much of something too soon. So if you normally drink a whole cup of coffee, it's better just to wait and not consume anything for a couple of days. But if you really want to, do not drink alcohol right after Kambo. Do not for like at least a couple days. It will be way too strong. You will get super drunk super fast, right? Don't do it. If you normally drink 1 cup of coffee, maybe start with like a third or a half and see how you feel, and then maybe wait and then maybe drink a little bit more if you want. The same the next time you drink alcohol. If you normally drink 3 drinks, maybe start with like 1 and wait and see how you feel, because it happens really fast. Beyond that, other substances, because your neuroreceptors will be shrunk, right? And especially in the opioid system, and also the buildup in your system of your substance of choice will be washed out. You can actually overdose yourself taking your normal dose, right? So this is true of anything: sugar, food, drink, whatever else you're engaged with, cannabis, right? It'll be much too strong and really fast. So it's better to be mindful of taking it easy, right? Take it easy. So speaking of taking it easy, let's move from body. Well, let's also talk about body something, because actually this question, this poll inspiration, if you want to vote on the poll to decide what the next topic will be, down there in the comments or description somewhere, you will see description. a link to the Facebook group. That's where the poll always goes every week on Sunday, so we can come live on Tuesday. So if you want to participate, you want to vote, you can even write in if you want. I never know what we're going to talk about. It's whatever you want. I'm here for you. So the question was actually posed originally that inspired the poll entry by Miss Anna Christina. So Anna Christina asked me, why do I have an allergy? I'm having a rash because isn't Kambo to help reduce allergy? And actually, yes. And it can increase sensitivity to other things. So she determined that the rash that she was having came from sitting in the grass where an insecticide had been applied. And an insecticide is not an allergy, that's a poison. So she was increased in sensitivity to poisons because her system had been detoxified, and decreased in sensitivity to allergy. But allergy and a normal reaction to poison is not the same thing, right? So yes, Kambo can reduce your allergic potential and also will amplify sensitivity to other things, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, body, mind, emotion, spirit. What do we do next? What do you think, Miss Emma? We did body. What do you think? Mind, emotion, or spirit? I'm waiting. I'm messing with you. It's good to see you, sweetheart. I will select for you. Let's do mind. So mind, that's really where some of the most exciting parts of the integration process happen. Espiritu. You were too late. Oh, hello. Hi. So, all right, fine. Espiritu. So the spiritual aspect of Kambo is often one that is overlooked. I prioritize this back aspect in my practice because I really believe it is a much more powerful practice than just a physical experience. So I'm new here. Hello. Me too. So good to see you. So the spiritual element, I also, I'm I work in shamanic practices, so I do a lot of energy work with my clients. We do a lot of, like, if a client prefers it, sound healing or breath work or other types of exercises to help them move or realign their energy. I use magnets sometimes, whatever it is I feel I need for a client. And I will also help move the energy. The Kambo also does this. So even if your practitioner does not prioritize this, the Kambo will also help you, right, in this space. So that means that's actually the aspect of ourselves we find least visible, right? We know where our body is, generally speaking. We have very clear awareness of that. We know generally where our emotions are, somewhere here in our body, right? And we experience them, so we are aware of them. Mind, we're aware of that also. We understand our thoughts, right? We understand what it feels like when our mind is overloaded, right? So we have a relationship with these aspects of the self that are a little bit more tangible than the spirit self. For those of us who are very invested in this aspect of ourselves, you'll have a more clear understanding of what's happening here, especially for those. I work with a lot of other healers and teachers to up level whatever it is they're doing. So this aspect can be really awesome for somebody who's really connected to that part of themselves. It is also the part of yourself that, when clouded or disrupted in some way, can cause disruptions in life. So when someone feels like, I don't know why this is just like this cycle keeps happening, what is that? Sometimes it's a spiritual problem. So Kambo can actually help detoxify that as well. So even when I don't particularly choose to work on someone in this category, if they would rather have their own experience, and I do all this with intake stuff, so this is never a surprise in the moment. It's always questions we ask for maximum clarity. That the Kambo will also clarify the auric body, right? Some call it the aura, your energy field, right? And when it causes greater physical alignment, you will also have more energetic alignment because your organs are also producing an energetic frequency. Modern energy medicine, not just the stuff, but also in the modern research space, are also acknowledging the energetic sequence and frequency and signature of specific organs, and it's very exciting, the cusp of science here that's starting to acknowledge what that means. So this aspect of yourself, if you are more aware of it, cool. If you're not, maybe this is an opportunity to become more aware of it. But either way, the work will be done, and it'll really help clarify this aspect of yourself. What that can mean in your life is, and how you integrate that is it's time to say yes to letting go of old cycles in your life, and to say yes to a new relationship with this aspect of yourself. That can look like starting a prayer practice, setting up an altar. Some of my clients like to know how to set up an ancestor altar or some other such type of work, or deciding to finally commit to that prayer or meditation practice, or just reconnecting with that aspect of yourself and allowing that to help clarify some of the, BS that happens in life when things get complicated, living in the modern life, So, um, I love working on this aspect of someone's self. This can also help affect the whole rest of the system, because there's nothing you can do to one quadrant that isn't going to affect all of them anyway, right? So that's why it's all inside one circle. We only separate them for the idea of, um, understanding simplicity and compartmentalization. But that's not really how it works. The system operates as one singularity, okay, one single whole. So this is a very cool way of really connecting with a different aspect of yourself, is engaging in a practice like this that will give clarity to that for you. Some people have a really spiritual experience in the practice itself. My clients often do, because I think for me it's extremely spiritual. So for me, I know a lot of my clients have really profound experiences in that aspect. They may even have visions, which is not considered normal with Kambo at all. Um, they may have like a revelation, like it's really exciting. So sometimes they feel like information just comes out of nowhere for them. This is delightful, right? So go ahead and channel away whatever it is you feel like is coming in for you. Hear your messages, and it's awesome. So I that part of yourself also requires maintenance. It's relationship like anything else. You have to focus your mind. You have to pay attention and relax your emotions. You have to feed and nurture and exercise your body. You have to, bathe, right? And you have to engage with this other aspect of yourself too, in order to form a good relationship with yourself, right? So that can look like whatever you like it to look like, and I'm very non-denominational here. So maybe that means prayer, that means meditation, maybe it's reading your tarot cards. I don't care, right? That's for you to decide. But do use this as an opportunity to jumpstart relating to this aspect of yourself in an even deeper way, while there's great clarity available to you. Okay, espiritu. You like that? Oh, hello, I'm back. Good to see you. I'm glad you're back. So let's do mind. So mind in the aftercare is really interesting because it can cause a dramatic change in thinking patterns. We can use a Kambo experience, because it is very physically intense, as a benchmark for a big life change. So you can look back and say, well, I'm thinking of starting my whatever again. But, instead of engaging with that pattern, I'm going to look at myself and say, man, I really went through that thing. I'm going to commit to what gift I gave myself and say, this was a time in my life where I decided to make a change. So there can be a before and an after, right? So this benchmark is a really cool opportunity to make a change of your mind, which I love. So this is part of where the integration process is well served with integration coaching, right? This is where I love to step in and help people replace old thinking patterns with new ones in a way that's not so hard, right? There are lots of reasons affirmations are useful. There's lots of reasons they're not, right? So, but what can we do instead? Well, this is where I love to apply all of my NLP and all of that other fun stuff that I love, the transformation work, to help make a change of mind. This is also a wonderful place to really feel um, personal empowerment, right? It's a really powerful practice, and I love to focus on that in the practice itself, of this personal empowerment, this idea that yes, I can do anything. And with that knowledge in your mind and that way of thinking dramatically influenced, and a new pattern of thought available, new opportunities become more present in life. We can identify when something is good for us or not good for us more quickly. Some call that intuition, some call it subconscious impulse, like whatever, it does not matter, message from guardian spirit, whatever you like. This is the part of yourself where creating a new self identity can really make a huge difference on what's available to you in your life, and what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate. Sometimes clients come in wanting to heal their own selves from bad relationships, and what they realize later is, oh wow, okay, I'm perpetuating these bad relationships. I get to make a new choice. I get to make a change, and I feel powerful. I can do it, right? I know that I'm capable. So, because if I can do Kambo, I can do anything, right? So the mental aspect is really cool. Also, Kambo is very soothing for the neurological system. So sometimes what this means is to talk about mind and brain are not the same. Mind and maybe not even be in the brain, right? There's the ages long debate on that. But there's something to be said for the reduction in pain and duress and stress on the electrical firing of our wiring system that can really change our patterns of thought and our attention and our focus, right? So I love what can happen there in the mind. Now let's talk about the emotion side, because this one's really juicy, and again, where integration coaching really thrives. So this is the part that I find is massively overlooked in Kambo practice and should not be, because sometimes it can be really, really intense. So, in any healing practice, when we create that clear channel and open up that floodgate, there are videos down below or in the channel about more about this practice and more about like why this happens and what you can do. I think there's a visualization video that has something about that too. How about how healing happens like in a process, and just because you're done puking doesn't mean you're done healing. And in fact, it may be just the beginning. So sometimes what happens with Kambo practice is a new alignment occurs and a new clarity of body and mind occurs, which makes space to open the floodgate for real healing to truly begin. So someone who has experienced a lot of heavy emotions, for example, trauma or PTSD, Kambo can really help with that. But what often happens is afterwards, things start coming up, emotions, thoughts, memories, right? So it's really important to self-care on this aspect of yourself too moving forward, which means do not immediately get around intense people. Do not immediately put yourself in a situation of a lot of intense, um, attention points. Like, for example, a music show is not good for the day you did Kambo, right? Or, not just a music festival, but like maybe your favorite Vietnam War movie. Like, that's not the time for that because you're open. Kambo will blow your heart open. It's amazing. You'll feel super like connected and loving and like all these things. You'll get to enjoy all of that like connection feeling. Frog medicine is also about connection, not just clarity and communication. So it is a really good time to journal and to meditate and to really focus on yourself and not put yourself in a really intense scenario or around people who are really intense, because you may be feeling them. You may feel more empathetic. You may experience psychic opening. This happens a lot of times with my clients, especially the ones who ask for it. I'm happy to give it, right? This is part Kambo, part my shamanic work. But I love the raves are a perfect place to take a nap. Oh. You're so funny. I mean, whatever you're into, if that's what you like, then you know what? You go, girl, you do that. Everyone's different, right? I love that. So it's really important to be mindful of that. Like, try not to get around really stressful or demanding people who like complain a lot or who are really otherwise nag you or whatever. And if you have a partner that you find that you're having issues with, maybe it's the right time to say, listen, like, I need a moment for myself. I'm going to go take the afternoon to journal and nap, and let's reconvene tomorrow when I feel like I want to share with you about my experience, because I do, but I also know that I need this time for myself right now, and I would love to reconnect with you tomorrow or whatever. So give yourself space, right? Give yourself space to allow for your emotions to calm. Sometimes what happens is once that window opens, um, the healing will continue, right? The process occurs. So sometimes it may happen 3 days later when suddenly, some emotional reaction to a current situation will happen that's like really intense. Most people experience a profound sense of peace and self-sovereignty, right? After Kambo. But sometimes when the floodgate opens, intensity comes up and we finally have a chance to really heal that. So that usually looks like at first like it's been caused by an external environment, but this trigger is just there to help you see what it is that's come up for healing. So again, a really beautiful place to engage with integration coaching, someone who's especially specialized in the Kambo space, because again, this is not really all that commonly addressed. I'm finding, it's obvious that you probably need integration after you boga ayahuasca or something like this. But if you're even if you're not, but especially if you are having a difficult experience that seems a little bit unexplainable, very shortly after any type of a transformative event, whether that's a birthday, or a funeral, or a wedding, or, a medicine experience like Kambo, it's important to take care of yourself by asking for support, right? It's a huge part of being human is saying yes to that part of ourselves that needs that connection, right? And Kambo is all about communication. So it's good to be able to communicate what's going on for you. Hell no, you're so funny, Emma. So I'm a huge advocate for integration with this space. Even very early on in my practice, I noticed a need for it and a distinct lack of it. And so it's if your practitioner does not do integration coaching, which most don't, and that doesn't matter because, you don't need to be a therapist to be a shaman, right? And you don't need to be a shaman to be a Kambo practitioner. So, that's not doesn't say one thing or another about your practitioner, right? What that does mean though is you need to find some integration coaching. If you are struggling, my Facebook group is also a community for these things. If you're not struggling, just want to share and enjoy the experience, check it out. I don't know if you know about how to form community around YouTube. I'm still learning. Please let me know what you know. And I would love to create that space here. But the Facebook group is private, so that way it doesn't show up all over the rest of your Facebook. It just stays in the group, whatever it is you want to comment there. Or reach out to me, send me a message and let me know how I can be there for you or what it is you think you need. And maybe it's not me you work with, maybe I direct you to another professional, right? But the idea is that you should, especially if you're experiencing intense emotions following any transformative event, then you really should seek some form of integration counseling, right? So I love, love, love this part of the process because that's when the real healing gets to happen. And it's amazing to me how many times people say to me after going through, not even my practice, but another combo service and saying, hey, listen, Kat, so I am like going through it because this guy did this and that person said that and this happened at my job. I'm like, wow, that has nothing to do with what you think it does. You are healing something deep. It is this, this, and this. This can occur in the form of dreams too. A lot of dreams can be super intense. It's your mind processing, it's your emotions coming up. Let it happen. And if you are not doing it gracefully, please seek help. There's no reason to suffer. The whole point was to feel better, not to suffer more, right? So please help yourself and get help. If you're watching this video, then you already know of at least one person who would love to be there for you. So you are not alone. um, Mind, body, emotion, spirit. I think that's it, right? So to sum it all up, yes, combo can be very intense after the process. No, it is not over once the puking stops. Um, you may even experience diarrhea for the next 2 days, though that's not very normal. Reach your practitioner. It can happen, and or cramps or whatever. Physically speaking, the process may appear to continue, but emotionally and mentally and spiritually, the process has really just begun. So definitely leverage this as a time to get squeeze the absolute most every last drop out of your experience by engaging with tools and practices that can help yourself, and just knowing that that can occur, that that is an option, that that's a possibility for you, can make all the difference, right? So some clients who have sent me a message and say, hey, I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, look at this as an opportunity for healing. What do you think might be coming up? Oh, it makes complete sense now. This is all related to something that I experienced when I was a kid. I get it now. Thank you. Okay, I'm good. I know what to do. Meditation, writing, journaling, displacement exercises, whatever else it is that you need, that you love to help yourself feel better, and to process your emotions. Don't stuff them back down and start asking questions like, oh, why am I going through this? What am I thinking? Like, that's why am I thinking about this now? Let yourself have your process and let it come up and out. Remember, combo is very physical, though not only. And our emotions and our memories are stored in our body. And yes, even modern science is starting to acknowledge this. So as they come up and out, let them. Don't stuff them back there down, which caused the problems in the first place. Right? A lot of times people come to combo also to help with physical dis-ease, which is often caused by emotions, right? And memories. So let the process happen. Let it carry on, let it carry out, right? And get support if you need it. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it is a measure of strength to say, yes, I need to ask for support right now, and to pursue that and really reach out and do that. So I commend you if you have, and I encourage you if you haven't. And congratulations for making it to the end of this video, because we are at the end. We are much over our usual time of 20 minutes. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm very grateful for your vote. Again, my name is Kat Rambo. I am your medicine woman, and I'm here to answer your questions. So whatever you would like to talk about is up to you. If you would like and you don't want to participate in the Facebook polls or groups, go ahead and put a comment and tell me, is there a topic that you really like? And I'll throw it up in the poll for you and see if it hits, right? I would love to answer your questions. It's all for you. So let me know what works for you, and I already look forward to seeing you next week.